Well, hi there, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my little unorthodox video journal about knitting and other crafts I do. Kinda trying something new here, so if you will, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Here's a detailed story of my spinning journey from start to knitting an actual sweater with my own hand-spun yarn. So, at the beginning of the year 2022, my knitting hobby took a significant step that led falling completely into a rabbit hole. I got myself a spinning wheel. Spinning was something I had wanted to try a long time but hadn't never got a chance. I also considered spinning wheels to be rather pricey. Old ones that were easy to find with almost no price at all were in really bad condition and almost definitely not spinning ready. New ones cost approximately 700 euros and there seems to be absolutely zero of them available second-hand in Finland. I was examining possibilities to fix one old wheel that was restored just to look nice, and at the starting point no one knew if there were even all parts left. End result was that it would have needed quite laborious phases of mending due to a missing flyer and bobbin. Then one night I was slightly frustrated with all this and pretty much just decided to buy a new one and be done with it. I googled who sells them in Finland, compared a few models and ordered one with some wool. It took a few days to arrive and I spent those days predominantly binge-watching JillianEve's YouTube channel. This great lady has basically taught me how to spin. In her videos she goes through the mechanics of the spinning wheels, a lot of stuff about techniques, problem shooting why your yarn might be under or overspun, and a lot more. Warm recommendations, just wonderful bubbly person and really fine content. Then the parcel arrived. I had chosen Ashford Joy No. 2, a double treadle castle spinning wheel. The horizontal shaped ones are called Saxony spinning wheels. Ashford is a company from New Zealand and it is found already in 1934. According to my research, they make sturdy, reliable and durable spinning wheels and also good quality weaving looms and tools. I'm thinking weaving is probably not too far ahead in this rabbit hole. Before I go further, I'm going to really quickly go through what and how the spinning wheel actually does. In the early days, there were no yarn or fabric available like today. However, sheep, wool and plant fibers such as linen and nettle were decently available. These fibers are thin and longish, but how to build a longer thread of them? Early on, someone figured if the thin fibers were twisted around each other quite tightly, they stuck together and form a thread. Thread could be used for knitting, weaving fabric and so on. The second question was how to twist the fibers time efficiently. Drop spindles are known to be used already 12,000 years ago. Drop spindle is a decent way to spin yarn, but it is relatively slow work. First spinning wheels are proposed to be used already before 10th century, and earliest clear illustration of a spinning wheel is from 1237 from Baghdad, current Iraq. So the spinning wheel twists the fiber and here's how it does it in a nutshell. The treadle spins the wheel. The rod forwards the spin to a whirl that is attached to the flyer axle, so also the flyer and its orifice spin. Thread goes through the orifice via hooks onto the bobbin where it is tied. At this point, the bobbin spins freely. Now, if we treadle the wheel and hold the fiber, the flyer makes our fiber to twist. However, if the fiber is let loose, the bobbin that spins freely does not pull the twisted fiber in. If the bobbin would be completely still, the yarn would not have time to get spun because it would reel itself around the bobbin as the flyer spins. On the other hand, if the bobbin spins freely, it does not pull the yarn at all. So what we want is something between the free spinning bobbin and completely still bobbin. The trick is to break the bobbin spin a little, and it is done with a break rod. Now the bobbin spins, but slower than the flyer. Now when we treadle the wheel and spin the fiber and then let it go, the bobbin does pull it in as long as we let it. Now when we keep treadling and steadily feeding the fiber to the orifice, the yarn is born and nicely reeling onto the bobbin. I'm reminding you I had never spun before. I had learned that before actually even trying to spin fiber, it is wise to practice just feeding regular yarn to orifice and treadling smoothly at the same time. This way it is easier to get the hang of it because the yarn does not break like the fiber does. So I practiced treadling and feeding the yarn and also did some test plying. Plying means spinning 2 or more yarns together. This spinning wheel comes with a built-in lazy Kate, a tool to keep spun bobbins in place while you fed their yarn to the spinning wheel simultaneously to create 2-ply yarn. After some time I was confident and impatient enough to try with some real fiber. With the spinning wheel came small amount of red and green wool. So that's what I started with and spun them with absolutely overwhelming enthusiasm. And look at the result! My first ever little spun. It is so lumpy and weird, and I love it. Due to the coloring, I needed a Christmas ornament with it. In my eyes, it will spark that enthusiasm and happiness forever. I think I was being realistic with the fact that to build proper spinning skills, practice is needed. I had ordered some less fancy wool to practice from a different place, but they had not arrived at that point. So due to impatience and excitement and 'cause we only live once, I took the gorgeous and pricey merino wool silk blend that I had ordered with the spinning wheel. And yeah, well, what do you think? But I loved every minute of it. It is lumpy and both overly and underspun. Some say this style of spinning makes art yarn, so I'll go with that. I made an artsy hat for myself with it. You wouldn't believe the materials of this hat is worth almost 30 euros. So silly. I regret nothing. Then the other fiber arrived and the practice went on. At first I made quite thick yarns, probably because thinner ones would have broke with my unstable spinning skills. I tried different ways to mix the fiber while spinning and also plied most of my spun. I think this is 100% merino wool and I made really warm headband with it. Also made a gift hat with my practice spins. Then one of those days a non-spinning, non-knitting friend linked me a video of a blending board asking how I seen that. Blending board is a tool to make rollags, kind of a fiber roll-up with colors and fibers of your choice to be spun. Well, the rabbit hole does not have an end, does it? Approximately right away I ordered a blending mat, sticks and a comb. The actual board with sticks and comb is quite expensive. It's from 100 euros to 116 euros or more. The DIY kit with the mat, sticks and comb were 56 euros and that's what I chose. Until this day I have not managed to stable the mat to a platform. would probably be way easier to use the thing, but I'm too busy with my knitting. So I started to make the rowlocks and spin them. Mind you, I had not even knew these existed and jumped right into making. I'd say they are a bit trickier to spin, but I cannot know if this is due to my unexisting rowlocks making skills or my still quite wonky spinning skills. However, I fell in love with the technique. These are my first rowlocks. My spinning was still rather uneven and thick, but it's getting closer to some moderate steadiness. With these I decided to make felted slippers. The fiber is mostly merino wool and a little bit of silk, I think. First, I knitted huge socks and then throw them into a washing machine. The slippers are quite a sight, or what do you think? Even for my taste and for my love for ugly and weird things, these are a lot. But this is a journey. What's the fun of getting there right away? I guess I have to confess I ordered a bunch of tacky fake diamonds to go overboard and make the weird even weirder, and in that way better. Not sure if that worked for my cause or did I just make it worse. But they are mine and I wear them. In these magnificent felted slippers you truly can see the delicate beauty of the handcraft. The practice with my spinning and with the blending board went on. I started to make different kinds of grayish yarns and ply them together. There is still a lot of unevenness, but it's getting somewhat cohesive. Since I was getting a nice little fade with my skeins, and because I of course wanted to use my yarn, I soon decided to make a faded sweater. I started the sweater with Isabell Kraemers' Pink Memories pattern, but for some reason decided to freestyle the rest after a couple of centimeters of the yoke. I should make the Pink Memories though, seems a proper pattern for a good everyday wear. The fibers I used to make the rowlocks were merino wool in black and grey, Scottish wool in black, Corriedale in orange and white, and silk in white, orange and sand colors. At that time I got an opportunity to visit Eläinsuojelukeskus Tuulispää, which is a sanctuary and forever home for farm and production animals. It is located in Somero, southern Finland. In Tuulispää there is cows, pigs, roosters, goats, sheep and many other animals. All the residents have come into Tuulispää because they had nowhere else to go or they were about to be killed. In Tuulispää they can live in peace the rest of their lives, properly taken care of and free of any service for humans. It is fully funded with donations and I will leave all the information of everything on the description of this video. Friend of mine who knows Tuulispää people asked what happens to the wool when the sheep are shorn. Answer was, it goes to waste, as in many other places as well. The harsh truth is that handling the wool is laborious and quite unprofitable at the best of times. Also, Tuulispää does not want to make any profit with any animal products. Maybe you see where this is going. I asked if I could have some of the wool, and they gave me a whole bunch of it. Like I said, it is untreated, uncleaned, and just stuffed into a bag after sharing, but I felt like a lottery winner. I've carefully cleaned, washed, and carded a little bit of it, but there is still much to do. Also, a lot goes to waste from me also because big parts of the wool is always too tangled or too dirty to use, but that I knew. I did not want to include this precious thing to my sweater since I thought I want to be a bit better spinner when I spin with this. but wanted to share this little event since I feel it's such a momentous encounter on my fall through this rabbit hole. But talking about the sweater, here's the result. To say the least, I'm very pleased with it. The black Scottish wool I had is quite rustic and it kinda prickles when worn next to skin. I'm trusting it will get softer with time and wear. Otherwise, no complaints. It is warm, it is well fitted, and the fade thing worked out as planned. I got the spinning wheel in February 2022 and started practicing. 7 weeks later, in April 2022, I had the sweater done. That is something I can mention in my CV, right? I don't think I'm gonna get out of this rabbit hole anytime soon. Lastly, here's one more time the 2 months learning curve. Now, thank you so much for watching and maybe stay tuned if this content is something that interests you. Okay, bye.